Hey everyone, it's Grosso. I'm the Culture Chief at Delivering Happiness. I wanted to share with you just a little bit about myself and my journey. I've been with Delivering Happiness since the beginning, when we decided that we were going to create a culture coach sultancy, and even right down to how we decided to call it that, coach sulting. And the idea was not to have a sort of stuffy consulting culture that was helping companies create processes, but instead, how do we teach to fish and really create something different that brings work to life? And for me, that was really important because my culture journey started way back in college. I went to a great 4-year university in New York City, and I did well in school. I made friends, I respected my teachers. I was so excited to get out into the real world and to have a job. And to me, that's really when life began. That was like when happiness would come, all the freedom and the work of college. So I remember riding the subway down to, 34th Street in Manhattan, and I rode the elevator up the Empire State Building, sort of a beautiful way to begin your work life. And I got into my office and I sat there. I was shown to my cubicle, and nobody spoke to me for what seemed like years. I was only there for a week in the end, because what I quickly realized is that people were at work in order to escape work. I had to ask myself at that time, is this all that there is? Do we just work and live for the weekends and just accept that work isn't that great? And right about then, a young CEO gave me a book called Delivering Happiness. And it was about a different approach to pursuing happiness, not just in life, but at work, through our passions and through purpose. And at that point, I joined the team because I realized that my negative experience of work uniquely qualified me to create a different experience of work for others. So since then, we've been recreating what happiness can mean for ourselves at work and for our clients. So as Culture Chief at Delivering Happiness, I'm one of our lead coaches. I'm a speaker. I've worked with organizations around the world, from Google to Gates to the Dubai airports. And I've also worked with some of the smaller organizations around the world. In fact, I worked with one company when they were just starting off with 2 people. And one of the questions I get a lot is, will this really work in Japan? Will this really work in Russia? Well, Germans are different. How is this going to work for us? And one thing that I've learned, that we've tested really, is that people are people everywhere. So if you have humans, then what we have is a model that's based on human flourishing and how we can extend that to teams. Beyond, underneath, underlying a lot of the concepts and the principles of positive psychology is a simple tenet. When we can be our true selves, we can tap into our purpose and our passions and live a life that's truly free and uniquely our own and without regrets. So the opportunity is really to change those I wishes to I lived. One person, one team, one company at a time. So thank you for listening to my story. What I really hope it's done is somehow spark or inspire you to think about your own story, because all of our happiness starts there, with our experience of life and understanding what our highs and lows are and what really brings us meaningful happiness. So I'd love to hear more about your stories when we work with your team.